Hey, you guys, welcome back to another episode of the Culture of Health Podcast. My name is Austin McGuffey. I'm sitting here with...
Sorry, you gotta do it again.
Why?
Because.
You can't just say your name?
Yeah.
Say it right now.
No.
Say it right now.
Why?
Just say it right now. What's your name? Who are you?
Fantasia McGuffey.
Fantasia McGuffey. We've been married for a long time. We've been married for 10 years. We have 4 kids. And one of the things that we're very passionate about is raising health conscious kids. And the reason why is because we think that everything is rooted in good health. And so when you talk about raising kids that are fulfilled and confident and kids that grow into productive adults, we think that it should start with their health. And with that being said, Fantasia came up with a pretty comprehensive list of 9 things or 9 tips that any parents can follow for you to also raise health conscious kids. So before we get into this list, I'm gonna throw a curveball at you, which I know you're not gonna like. But
Me?
You, yeah.
You better not.
I am. Here we go. What is, how would you define health conscious kids?
I hate defining stuff for you.
Give me a definition.
You just defined it. You just said it.
I want to know what you
in
think.
the introduction.
What is a health conscious child? I didn't define that.
Okay. It looks like a child who's confident, who understands what's good for them, who knows how to advocate for themselves.
There you go.
Yeah.
A child who knows what's good for them. I
Yeah.
like that. So, with that being said, that means that your child has to have some level of knowledge of I'm not talking about biochemistry or anything like that, but just in general, the relationship between what they're putting into their body and how they feel afterwards. But I think that's one of your tips, so I'm not going to trample on your process here. Let's talk about the first tip. What is the first thing that parents can do to start raising health conscious children?
So I think most importantly is to be an example, period. You cannot expect your children to be something that you're not.
Right.
I mean, you can expect them to be a little bit better than you in some ways, but you really have to show them what to do and how to be. And I think they enjoy the process of learning from their parents, in that way, if you're a positive example. I like the phrase, what they see is what they'll be.
That's facts.
And so just for yourself, establishing healthy habits and routines at home, it goes a long way for them. I know for in our household, our kids see us do certain stuff, more so probably you on a more consistent basis, which is okay because you have things that you like to do and I have things that I like to do. And so combined.
Yeah. So let's break that down.
Yeah.
So what are the things that, let me talk about myself and then I'll let you do the same for yourself. So things that I'm big on are working out, getting outside in the morning and stretching. This morning I went outside and I'm doing jumping jacks and push-ups in the parking lot and Camden's looking for me. Eating protein at the beginning of my meals. That's something that they always look forward to, that they also do as well.
Do they look forward to it?
I think so. Well, they snitch.
It's a joke.
They snitch. It is a joke. They snitch on each other when someone is not eating protein.
So
first.
eggs and pancakes is we tell them to eat their eggs first and then their pancakes.
Right. Because obviously protein is the most, to us and maybe to many others, it should be the most important aspect of your meal. But that working out, I also have a continuous glucose monitor on the back of my arm very often. And they're like, well, what's your glucose like? Or you can't have that because your glucose is going to go da-da-da-da. But yeah, so I think those are, practical ways. It's things that you don't go out of your way to do. It's just literally how you live. And it's weird because Camden over the past 2 weeks, it's been a thing where he's like, look, Dad, my abs are getting bigger.
He showed me his little chest. I was like, okay.
His little chest. Sorry. For perspective, Camden is 9. So of our 4 kids, we've got a 9-year-old, soon to be 10, 8, 6, and 4.
Yep.
So that's the age spread. What about you? What are some things that they pick up from you?
I feel like you set me up with this.
No.
Okay. So I think that they see me generally try my best to have a positive attitude throughout the day.
Come on.
Be patient. They see me reading. They see me meditating.
Meditation is probably the biggest one.
Yes.
I was going to lean towards that. Not the only one, the biggest one.
For me.
For you.
You're saying from what they see from me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And having breaks too. Like I leave, I have to have time to myself, and we
Right.
encourage them to do the same thing. Not only when they feel like frustrated or flustered, but just as a preventive thing. Like you
Right.
need to go outside and play, spend some time. You're
Right.
doing something that you love.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is that we do a good job explaining why we do those things. So when in the morning, if the kids wake up like this morning and they're like trying to get on their electronics, and as soon as I hear it, I pick up my phone and shut the internet off. I'm like, no, we're not gonna start our morning like that. But not just doing that, but then explaining like, hey, like if you go outside and get sunlight, like it sets your circadian rhythm up for success. You're gonna get a better night's sleep. Or for you, for example, like meditating. Like I think that is really cool how, sometimes Cadence, you might find her, like if she's having a moment or she's being dramatic, she'll be sitting and meditating. And that's something that observed behavior. And they know that there are benefits like,
Yeah, she knows. I don't think she's doing it she might be in a mood, which I highly encourage you to meditate before, as like a preventive measure. But she might be in a mood, but she literally knows that breathing and going outside, taking a break and meditating helps her.
Right.
She knows that it helps her body. And I think that's so cool. And she interrupted me today while I was meditating. It was, yeah.
But it's cool for her to see that though, even if she interrupted you. But yeah, so what you just said, the first one is like being an example. This, like, it's not going out of your way. Honestly, I think whether you're doing the things or not, you're still being an example.
For sure.
You're
Either way.
Yeah, one way or the other.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that we're like always the best example. Like
No.
our kids know that I have, a struggle with sugar. And so maybe when they see me eating that, it's not, the best example. But they know that I try, and that's a sign of moderation. So maybe it's not so bad after all.
And I think they see you as you're trying. They know when you've done it. When you go too far is what I'm trying to say. They know that. And so, and they joke about it, but they know that they all have to suffer the consequences of that.
Yeah.
Because then you go look around the house, find all the sugar and throw it away.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Okay, cool. So what you got for the second
So
one?
number 2 is basically stand on what you believe in. So I think we do that pretty well. Probably from their perspective, a little too much, because they're like, why do you have to be metabolism mentor and why do you have to be the fresh mom anyway?
Right.
But they know that, as we stated in the beginning of this, health is really, really important for us. And it's really the foundation for everything. We believe that in life, you can't be productive. It's really hard to have fun and enjoy things if you're not healthy, if you don't feel good.
Yeah.
So we stand on the fact that we believe that health comes first.
Right. And I think that the importance of standing on what you believe in is because we live in an environment that makes it hard to do so sometimes, like celebrating, milestones or certain events. And, everyone's like being handed out cake or different types of treats, or like Valentine's Day. A perfect example, Cadence wanted to go to school with like a bunch of candy. And we're like, no, like there's enough candy floating around in this school ecosystem and you don't have to contribute to that. She did end up taking cookies, to which I'm grateful to you
Oh,
for.
whatever. You're touching me
I am. Well, because like,
we were supposed to be doing fruit. So we went from the candy and I said, oh, you can make this fruit. You can do all these cool things like edible arrangement, like look on Pinterest. And I got her excited. And then I went to the store and they didn't have what I was looking for. And I was like, all right, what's the next best things? We gonna do these cookies.
a pack of cookies.
And some, I think it was cookies and brownies, but we didn't overdo it. It was like,
Yeah.
it's like 24 of them and
A decent amount, yeah. But like, at least like the beginning attempt is like, no, we're not gonna go out and buy a bunch of candy, because that's the easy thing to do. And so like, if we do really believe like, hey, this is how we live, like your belief system is gonna be tested in the current food environment. And so it's really important, like you said, to stand on that. You know what I'm saying? Stand on your 10 toes. What you got for number 3?
So next is give them autonomy. Okay, so we're try to be a good example. We do all these things, but we also give them the freedom and the space to make choices.
Right.
So that looks like letting them in the kitchen and helping out from time to time.
Which is annoying sometimes.
It is, but you can plan for it. I really try to tell parents, like, do it on the weekends. Whenever you have the most time, whenever you feel like you can be the most patient person, do it then. So like a Saturday breakfast type of thing, and let them just get in the kitchen and help out, because children will definitely eat what they make. I think And so that's something that we've been doing for a long time.
Yeah.
Camden, our first child, actually got most of our patient time, or more so mine, like just being in the kitchen and just trying stuff.
And it shows, because not only is he spend the most time in the kitchen, not just because he's the oldest, but he's got the most experience, but he's also our best eater, because we've been like shoving pureed zucchini in his mouth since he was 1. And a bunch of other stuff that he had an opportunity to like sit in the kitchen and watch us make and get his hands like, on it, and like to be involved.
Yeah.
But then the other thing with giving them autonomy is giving them room to fail. I think, is that another one of the
Yes, don't do that.
All right.
He's skipping ahead.
I'm gonna let you get on it. But on
Well,
that,
like even with the grocery store, right? When we take them with us, which is very seldom, but the boys went with you the other day, and it's like, I think even the autonomy is like, okay, like letting them pick out some stuff.
Yeah.
Camden came home, there's a mango over here,
yeah.
and they're
Freddie,
like,
I think is his name.
okay,
Something like that.
that's gonna be weird. He eats it, but I know everybody was like, Carter was like, nope, that's Camden's mango. He picked it out,
Right,
and I think giving them choices and allowing them to like go through the process of grocery shopping and seeing what's kind of healthy and what's not. And I think even you've like, I've definitely gone over food labels with them before, but I think you were just trying to kill time one day at Publix, and you were walking around with Carter and saying, look, he's like, how much sugar is in that? And how much sugar is in that? So it's like reading food labels,
Yeah.
But I think giving them the ability to make choices is very important.
Yeah. 100%. Fully agree. As you've already heard, health conscious kids must start with us becoming health conscious adults. If you're a parent, you know all too well that the phrase, do as I say, not as I do, carries absolutely zero weight. These kids are going to want to do exactly what you do, whether you realize it or not. Our kids know how important my wellness routine is to me, and despite them knowing how I am about sharing my favorite products, it doesn't stop them from trying to steal my stuff. One of the things they've asked for on a few occasions is my AG1 by Athletic Greens. Despite how much I love them, the answer is always a strong no. Each scoop is packed with 75 vitamins, minerals, adaptogens, probiotics, and other whole food source ingredients that help me get my day started off on the right foot. If I had to share with them, it would cut into my stash, and I don't know, I gotta have something for myself, right? It's the simplest habit I have that fills my nutrient gaps, promotes gut health, supports my immunity, and gives me a nice boost of energy. So you can see why I don't want to share with them, right? Besides, me being the best version of myself benefits everyone in the house, so being selfish in this case is actually okay, and sometimes selfishness is required when you want to take ownership of your health. Speaking of, if you want to take ownership of your health, today is a good time to start. Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/TCHP to take advantage of that exclusive offer. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/TCHP. Check it out. In addition to doing all the things you can at home to maintain your family's health, it's also important to get objective data about your well-being to guide your decision-making. This often means getting labs done and seeing your family doctor. As accessible as they try to make these kinds of services, we all know that having proper health insurance can oftentimes be a barrier. Especially as an independent contractor, you feel like your options are limited due to not having the traditional coverage that comes with having a traditional job. Well, thankfully, there's a remedy for that, and they're called Access Benefit Consultants. They're one of the partners of this podcast, and they help people find affordable health coverage despite their employment status. For me, that looked like reaching out to them, finding an agent, sharing some personal details with them, and having several options to choose from within just 24 hours. Pairing good health insurance with all of the additional things we do on a daily basis to protect our health is the best combination of preventive care. If you're in need of a health insurance plan, or you simply want to know what your options are in case you're exploring some self-employment options, I'd highly recommend you reach out to Access. You can head over to accessbenefits.com and generate your own quote and even enroll yourself. Or you can submit the form on their page and one of their agents will reach out to you in no time. Again, that's accessbenefits.com.
So next is number 4 is set healthful boundaries.
Talk about it.
So it's not like being super duper strict about things, right? But a rule that we like to go by is like, we're not bringing a junk in our house. Like, I'm not going to go to the grocery store and buy something and then like hope that you're not going to eat it or try to, you know, even given... Let me backtrack a little bit, because I actually do buy. I'm the person who will buy them like a treat here and there.
Fantasia
thinking
is the
like,
one.
well, thinking like just like forward thinking. Okay, if we spread this out, we're not having it all day, every day, right? But I don't. For the most part, we don't buy junk to bring in the house. We don't buy juice anymore.
Right.
We don't buy a lot of that stuff because we feel like they're gonna find it.
They will.
Outside of the house,
And they do.
so we can control what we bring in, you know, and that's mostly you're going to get, you know, just your staples. You're going to get some meat and some vegetables and some fruit.
Right.
And yeah, maybe a couple of snacks for school.
I think that's really helpful because as you know, especially like when your kids are home all day, it's like your kids are looking for things. And when you're hungry, like, you know, we're victims too. Like, we're looking for the easiest, lowest hanging fruit to grab. Like, we're not trying to put together an elaborate meal every time we come to the kitchen. But another example of a helpful boundary is putting things that they shouldn't have frequently out of reach.
For sure.
So one of the things that we enjoy is like raisin bread every now and then. And if the raisin bread was in the cabinet where they could reach it all the time, it will be gone.
It will be gone
in a day and a half.
Yes.
Or if we do have treats like Fantasia said that she buys, we take them, we put them in the closet on the top shelf.
It's really treats. It's like for school.
Yeah, snacks.
Snacks.
Yeah, things that are okay to eat depending on the context. But y'all know how it is, man. The kids get bored. They're just looking for something to pass the time. And
every 5 minutes, I'm hungry.
Exactly. So having food that's within reach that aligns with your like dietary ideology, that's probably the best boundary that we have set. Is the food that they shouldn't have all the time is keeping it out of reach. Because like when Carter goes to the kitchen, it's either strawberries, blueberries, or an orange,
An apple, nectarine. It's fruit, really.
It's fruit,
or beef sticks if we have those.
Yeah. So I like that one. Setting up boundaries, helpful boundaries.
Yes.
That's good.
All right. Number 5 is let them fail and learn. So this is what you were going into earlier. So we know that children, you know, they learn by doing, and sometimes they do the wrong thing, and that's okay, because they're still learning. So we let them do that, and we talk about, you know, how they feel after they make certain choices. Yeah. Prime example, Cadence.
She's always the one.
She's always the one. Maybe she's the one. Maybe she's just affected a little bit more. I don't know. Or just more in tune with her body. Or we notice that her mood changes after she has certain foods. And we're able to help her draw a correlation between what she ate or drank and how she feels.
Yeah.
I think that's very important because she is...
And it's never like, Cadence, don't eat that because this is going to happen. It's always like, all right, now you can have it, but you know,
right.
when you do, you start feeling this type of way.
Yeah. Or sometimes, you know, you might feel like yesterday they had like a movie night or whatever.
2 nights ago.
2 nights ago in the neighborhood. And, you know, they got a snack bag and it was like, I mean, it wasn't even the most horrible things in it, but it was like
Doritos,
popcorn. Well, she bought those Doritos with her money. She had $5. Those Doritos cost $2.50 for the little bag.
She took that $5 off my dresser?
Yeah, it was hers. That was her $5. She paid $2.50 for some Doritos. And then she had like, I don't know, like a little bag of like popcorn. They had juice box in there. And I think some gummy bears. She tried to tell me it was something else. Some, I don't know, healthy version of whatever.
Yeah. But then, like when you take all that into consideration, like she does have a lactose intolerance.
Well, yeah.
That manifests in different ways.
Yeah, a dairy sensitivity. Yeah.
And then you got sugar in there as well, plus just like all the other ingredients that they put in the processed foods. And then, you know, the next day, she's like the Grinch.
Yeah. And
Grumpy.
putting us all through it. It's like, and she's like, oh, my head hurts, my eye hurts, my stomach hurts. And we're like, Cadence, maybe it's because of what you ate yesterday. What do you think about that? You know?
Yeah.
And like, here's what we can do today to try to help you feel better.
Right. And that pays off because Cadence is always the one like in the morning, if she's had enough to eat or she doesn't want to eat a certain thing, she's like, no, I don't want my stomach to hurt, so I'm gonna pass on that. And now she's not perfect, she's not making decisions like that all the time.
Yeah.
But when she does have moments like that, that's a sign that the way that we approach parenting them and raising health conscious kids is paying off.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think Camden, today he said, we found out that he had ice cream out, I don't know, so like 2 nights in a row or something. But then you asked him.
You got a 10-year-old saying, oh yeah, I found out that he had ice cream 2 nights in. Do we not keep track of our kids?
I mean, not only that, but some people are like, okay, so what? I give my kid whatever, but again, health is at the foundation of everything for us. So that stuff is important. But also, no, our kids do have freedom to go and roam and make choices, period. Right. But I was going to say that, you asked him, was there ever a moment where he turned something down, that his friends may have offered him? And he gave this one example that I have heard before. So this might just be the one example where he has turned down something. But it was a popsicle that one of his friends offered him. So, it's funny because that brings me to the next point, which is number 6. And it's acknowledge their progress and give them praise.
Yeah.
So in moments like that, I think it's important for us to say, you know what? Good job. I'm proud of you, or you made a good choice for your body.
Right. Yeah. That's like Valentine's Day, and he came home with that bag of candy.
Yeah.
I guess he had enough. I'm sure he had a lot throughout the day. But Camden came home. It's got like a big old full-size bag of sour Skittles and a bunch of other stuff that I ended up eating.
Oh my gosh.
Full disclosure. But
Be the example, Austin.
Well, he didn't see me eat it, so I'm still a good example. But he brings his bag of candy home, and he comes to the table. It's the first thing that he does when he walks in the house.
Yeah, he was proud of himself.
Yeah, he sits on the counter. He was like, "Here, Dad, can you hold on to this for me?" And I just looked up, and we both looked at each other. We both just started laughing.
It was understood.
Yeah, he already knew. I was like, "Bro,
that you're gonna either eat it or throw it away."
I was like, "This is going in the trash, dog." He was like, "I know," and then he just left and went out and play. But moments like that, I was like, "Okay, cool." Even if you did go crazy at school,
right?
You didn't decide to go overly crazy by wanting to stash this candy for later, because that's what Cadence does. Like Valentine's Day, this is the opposite side of that. She comes home with candy and she thinks that nobody's watching her, so she goes and
finds a place to hide it.
She hides it in the back of her drawer. So I'm like peeking around the corner in the closet, and I see her. So she leaves the room. I go in and I take it out of her drawer. She didn't even ask me about it. She probably didn't even realize that it was missing.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2 completely different scenarios, 2 different decisions. But still, there's a mindfulness when it comes to sugar consumption. Even the fact that Cadence went out of her way to hide it, that's a sign that she knows that she probably
shouldn't have it.
Yeah, shouldn't have it.
I guess. I'm trying to think of an example for our other 2 kids, Carter and Kaylin. I mean, Carter has moments where he'll be like, "Oh, I ate my protein first," or he knows, I don't know,
I need something healthy.
I need some help. Yeah,
healthy snack.
Healthy. I heard Kaylin the other day. She was out with her friends and they were about to head to a store. Well, okay, so we have stores in the neighborhood, and they were just going up the street, and they were like, "We're gonna get candy from such and such," and then Kaylin was like, "I can't have candy," and I was okay. I don't know if she said that just because I was right there or what, But,
no, she actually does a good job.
Yeah.
But then there's always that fine line between like compliance, like we've talked about this in the previous podcast, where we're intentionally raising disobedient kids. We don't want to raise compliant children. I don't want you to not have candy because mom and dad said so.
Yeah.
It's because you genuinely don't want it.
Yeah.
And that's
and most times they genuinely do want it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's fine.
And so that's where those boundaries come into play, and respect for, the way that we parent them. And you can't expect your 5 or 6-year-old child to have
deny
mental
all the
clarity.
Things. Yeah.
No, that's not realistic at all. But when you set those boundaries and expectations and say, this is how we live, this is how we eat, then how your child views their relationship with food is mirrored based on how we pitch it to them, how we give it to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's also that aspect to where parents, we know better. I had to explain to Cadence when she was eating her kale this evening, and she was like, "Oh, it's gross. I don't want it. I don't want to eat it." I was like, "Okay, look, these are the vitamins that are in kale. This is what they do for your body. This is why you should eat it." And she ended up eating it. But it's like, listen, at the end of the day, I know this. I need you to trust me, and just do it. So it's like that fine line between you make the decision and I know what's best, and there's got to be some level of trust in this relationship. So
Yeah, that's good, because the next point, number 7, is explain.
you know, another very important aspect to raising health conscious kids is being able to trust your gut. Nobody knows your kids like you do, and you're equipped with a special set of instincts to care for your kids in a way that nobody else can. The thing is, those instincts, while strong, can be vulnerable if your gut health is off. There's a special connection between the gut and the brain, and many of the decisions you make on a daily basis are very much influenced by your gut health. So, taking care of your gut health should be a top priority, and one of the ways we do that is by using SuperGut's Fiber Mix. By now, you're probably familiar with fiber and the many ways it benefits the gut microbiome. Fiber ferments in your gut and feeds the good bacteria while helping to shrink the population of bad bacteria, which produces very beneficial short-chain fatty acids that help control blood sugar and improve the overall condition of your gut microbiome. That's what you're getting with SuperGut's Fiber Mix. The cool thing is that you don't really know you're boosting your fiber intake while using this product, because it has no distinct taste, doesn't change the texture of your food or drink, and can mix in just about anything. Imagine if you could increase your fiber intake by 8 grams every day without doing anything different. Yeah, well, you don't have to imagine it, because that can be your reality. Try it for yourself by checking out the show notes for a special link, or you can simply visit supergut.com. Again, that's SuperGut's Fiber Mix, and you can find it at supergut.com. Have you ever thought about what it'd be like to only check your bank account balance once a year without overdraft protection? Could you imagine the amount of debt we'd all be in with limited information about our transaction history and daily details about our balance? I know I'd be out here spending like there's no tomorrow, and you might be feeling anxious just listening to me explain this hypothetical scenario. The thing is, that's what many of us are doing with our health. We go to the doctor once a year for a snapshot of what our health looks like. Then we fly blind the remainder of the year, hoping to hear that everything is still working properly next time we go to the doctor. When it comes to becoming a health conscious person, that means being conscious of your health more than once per year. And one of the ways I personally enjoy doing that is by monitoring my glucose with Levels. Levels is building technology that shows you how food is affecting your health via continuous glucose monitors. Here's how it works. When you sign up, you receive 2 14-day sensors in the mail, and after applying one of them to the back of your arm, you begin receiving instant and continuous feedback on your glucose levels. It's important to keep an eye on these numbers, not just to prevent chronic disease, but also to maximize your potential while you're here. While you're a Levels member, you'll have objective information that exposes how active you are, how well you're sleeping, whether you're eating too much sugar, and a list of many other insights that the app can help you detect. After addressing those areas of your life and stabilizing your glucose, you may notice that it's much easier to lose fat, maintain your energy throughout the day, have more clear thoughts, and even improve your mood and general outlook on life. Those benefits, and many others, are a result of improving your metabolic health with stable glucose, and Levels is doing a great job navigating thousands of other people just like you towards better health. If this sounds like something you could benefit from and you'd like to give it a try, I have some good news for you. Levels is offering you 2 free additional months on top of your annual membership when you sign up. Be sure to use the link in the show notes of this podcast to take advantage of this exclusive offer, and please, keep me posted on all the cool things you learn about your body throughout this process.
Explain things to them.
Yeah.
And I know that's hard sometimes, but just like you said with the kale, you explain, okay, look, because she's probably like, why is this even good for me anyway?
Right.
You know, but explaining that and answering that question for her hopefully it helped her just draw a correlation between, okay, I can do this for my body. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the one thing we're really asking you to do.
Right.
And then she ate some of it and realized that it wasn't so nasty after all.
Exactly, yeah. You sound like you took that
Yeah, I
personally.
did, because I cooked that kale and and I thought that it tasted pretty good. And so did the other kids. But kids are really, they're full of curiosity. And I think that when they're comfortable enough to ask us questions, it's our duty to go the extra mile and explain things to them as best we can.
Yeah.
You know.
And that requires a level of patience.
It does.
And which brings it back to like the health thing, because if you are a mom or dad and you are not feeling your best, your chances of being patient with your child are not going to be very high.
Right.
Like when you and I are tired in the
Yeah.
evening.
Oh yeah.
And we don't feel good.
We have
We're
nothing
fatigued.
left. Nothing left to give.
It's like either eat it because I said so, or just fine, take your butt to
Or
bed.
don't eat it and
Yeah.
go to bed.
I don't have the energy for it.
You'll eat
so
breakfast.
like being the example is really important as parents. Like if you want to raise health conscious kids, you have to be health conscious, not just for them to do what they see, but also for you to effectively lead them, because you can't be an effective leader if you yourself don't feel good. Very hard to do.
Yeah.
We know that by experience.
Yeah, and we can't stress like how important, health is in relation to how you feel.
Yeah.
A lot of the things I think we go through as adults could really be avoided if we actually did good things for our body.
Absolutely.
And put good things in our body.
Man, I that's, what was it, number 2, stand on it.
Oh, yeah.
I stand on that, man. I think that all the weird things happening in the world, down to poor customer service, I think it's all rooted in poor health.
Yeah.
And the state of the health of this country. Relationships going sour. Obviously there are other factors involved.
For sure.
But yeah, like taking care of your body so that you can be in a good enough place to pour into your children is very important. It's key.
And then, okay, number 8. So if they don't care about your example that you're setting, you can place them around other kids who are a good example.
Yeah.
We found this to be very effective. So when children see other kids, either like trying something new, eating their vegetables, whatever, they're like, oh, such and such did that. Let me try it too, or they're just trying to like impress the other kid or their parents at their house, right? We've heard a little bit of all of that. But we know the kids at school, man, who have like the healthy lunches and stuff, like it really, it affects like our kids.
And we talking about like they got like celery, carrots,
Yeah, bell peppers,
some nuts, some grass fed, grass finished beef, and all the good stuff.
In their bento box. Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
But it's like, again, it's like, I almost said monkey see, monkey do, but
Yeah.
I have another story. Like Camden was here with 2 of his friends. They were about to play the video game, and they're like, "Oh, Coach Austin, do you have any snacks?" And I was like, I go in the fridge. I got some carrots. I was totally just kidding, but of course, one of the kids, Brooks, he went in and he pulls out. He just eats a whole carrot, and then the 2 of the other.
Was it him? Because that might be the only vegetable.
He only eats. He doesn't like fruit.
Right. Oh, it's fruit. Yeah, I know.
He only
Okay.
eats vegetables.
Okay. Right.
So he starts tearing his carrot up. And then one of the other kids is like, I can do that. And then Camden's like, I can eat a whole carrot.
So it's like a competition.
I was like, man, boy, you all cap, boy. You straight cap. Because if this was any other situation, Camden
Right.
would not be eating his carrot
Yeah,
raw.
yeah.
But there was another kid that was a little bit older than him who was tearing his carrot up. And then sure enough, Camden goes in and, does his thing. We all know that kids, naturally, you're going to do what your friends do.
Yeah. It's healthy, like competition.
Yeah.
Healthy peer pressure.
Right.
So we've come to our last point.
What's the last
And
point?
the last point is to be patient with these kids
Patience.
because this is truly a journey.
It's a journey.
It's a journey. So that means that everything that we said, just be patient with yourself, with your kid over time.
Yeah.
It takes a while for it all to stick. So we encourage you not to give up. Sometimes it's hard. It's not the easiest.
Yeah.
It gets frustrating.
I wonder what it does. Like it's one thing to say like be patient,
Okay.
What is an example? Like how do you practice patience? How do you show?
I think you're consistent, so it's like, just think of it like you're planting seeds, other people might come along to water it. You don't really know when it's going to happen, but you're continuing to show up and do your part. So like we said, going to the grocery store, bringing good stuff in the house, limiting their exposure to bad food, to sugary, over processed sugary foods. And it's really just, it's continuing to offer them things that is going to like benefit them.
Yeah.
And then really the patient part is just like, don't, I guess, internalize, I don't know, how long it takes them or whatever, you just got to keep going.
Don't take it personally.
Don't take it personally. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a study that said it takes a child an average of 16 times to be exposed to
it's something like that, to a new
food
yeah.
to actually try it. I think that's the ultimate like level of patience, because we've all gone through that phase with our kids where they don't like eating certain things. This stuff that's good for them, you know. It's like, it feels like pulling teeth to get them to want to eat healthy. And I think a part of being patient is knowing that you're not breaking your kid if you have like a phase where they're not eating something healthy, you know?
Yeah, it's okay. Like, we talk to parents all the time. It's like, we were talking to a parent today about that. She's like, my kid, he just wants chicken nuggets, you know? And we're like, okay,
give him chicken
it's
nuggets.
okay. He's 4, you know,
Yeah.
and it's fine. They all, I feel like, usually they kind of snap out of it, you know? But you just continue to like, just do your part and feed them.
Yeah.
And do the best you can.
And then another part of being patient is finding creative ways to shuttle those nutrients into them.
For sure.
Like,
yeah.
I think one thing that you did very well with Camden and the rest of them, you ain't slack up, but it's like smoothies, you know? You've done smoothies to get them vegetables.
Right.
We've done smoothie pops.
Yeah. Juicing is a good one. They love to just kind of be in the process of that. You know, it's just fun.
Getting them involved in that process and getting them excited about it. Building a culture, like, you know, just like a culture of health, you know?
Yeah, making it fun as best as possible. I know nutrition and stuff is not fun for everybody.
Right. Yeah.
But I think the more the more creative you can get, the better for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't have to be like every day. Something that I thought about was like taking a new thing, just saying, okay, I'm dedicating this week and I'm going to try this. I know we were just talking about like kind of making our food from scratch, like some of it, and we were talking about tortillas. So I was like, all right, instead of me saying, because sometimes I'll get a little overzealous and I'll be like, all right, I'm going to do all this stuff in 1 week. Instead of doing that, I'm just like, all right, this week I'm going to try tortillas, you know, and see how it goes. So I feel like it's the same thing with the kids.
Be patient with yourself too, as an adult.
Exactly. Because we're busy, man, and life gets intense sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's not always easy. So
yeah, and you still have yourself to take care of. So be patient with your child. Be patient with yourself.
Patient with everybody. Patient with the mama who, you know, is trying to probably do the best she can. And you know, who has all the bad stuff in their grocery cart, and you want to judge them for it. But you just mind your business and be patient.
And be patient with the parents that give your kids junk.
Oh, yeah, that's a big thing for Austin. He'd be like, I'm just going to bite my tongue. I'm not going to say anything. Yeah. And I'm like, good job, Austin, because they're not doing it every day.
That's a thing for me. Yeah. But, you know.
Because they probably say, oh, your parent, you ain't getting nothing good at home. Anyway, let me baby, let me give you a little something.
Your mom ain't feeding you. No, yeah, man. Patience all around. It takes a long time we've been in this 10 years and we are still making, you know, progressive changes as we continue to like learn more about our bodies and our kids. And we've been trying for a long time. We've been actively trying to do better. So your, you know, better is not going to look like our better. And our better is not going to look like someone else's better who's been doing this for 30 years, 40 years. Everyone is on their own journey. Your progress is individual. And, you know, like just because you don't have it all figured out right now, make small changes. Be patient with yourself and trust that things are like working out for your good. For your good. Yeah. Okay. Working out for your good, for the better.
Yeah.
All right. So that was 9 tips, 9 ways that we should all be investing a little bit of time into raising health conscious kids. Do you have any like final thoughts you want to leave with the audience?
No, well, if you don't already, follow us on, you know, Instagram,
IG,
because we try to show these things on a daily basis, just kind of like show what we're doing with our kids. We're going to do more of that, just getting behind the scenes, like how we're cooking with them, you know, moving our bodies, just doing different stuff. So I would say definitely follow us there. My name is Fantasia.McGuffey on Instagram, and Austin's is Austin.McGuffey on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing. And just be proud of yourself for listening to this podcast.
Yeah, this was the first step.
Yes.
Shout out to you. You did that.
Now you gotta go share it with somebody.
Oh yeah, that's huge.
So you can help your friend.
Share it with a friend. Share it with family. That's another way.
Maybe even, it depends upon how old your kids are. Let them listen to it.
Yeah, listen to it with your kids. We ain't saying nothing inappropriate.
No, not today.
Not this episode. Cool. Well, hey, listen, you guys, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Culture of Health podcast. Like Fantasia said, follow us on socials. Highly encourage you guys to subscribe to this podcast. One of the ways that you can continue to become more health conscious yourself is exposing yourself to information that's going to help you do better with treating your body better. So subscribe to the podcast, share with a friend, listen with a friend, compare notes, talk about what you guys are doing with each other to feel better throughout the day. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Bye.